What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. I figured tonight would just be kind of a short playthrough. We're going to cover a little bit of Minotaur team building, Minotaur farming, and just kind of fucking around, messing around, I guess. We just, kind of as a progress update, we just 6-starred Apothecary. That's what we chose to 6-star. It was kind of up in the air between Bellower, Nizana, Zargala, and Apothecary. We went with Apothecary because I want a kind of option for clan boss. I want to try like a pure speed team, maybe replace Skull Crusher and see how it works out. Was I going to replace Skull Crusher? Yeah, I was going to replace Skull Crusher and keep Steel Skull, keep the defense up. So we leveled him to 6-star. We got him ascended. We put on his life gear, his lifesteal set, and some speed runes. And this is just kind of the best that I could piece together at the time. So we got him up to, what, 202 speed, plus likely the mastery. You can see he's level 29. We've been just farming masteries since we 6-starred him. So in 29 levels, he farmed Minotaur, and he's gotten, I think that's the vast majority of the medium scrolls. I mean, it's just like an hour or two to start getting the master scrolls. It goes really quick. But I think we're going to get a speed up a little bit more. I think we'll probably sit around 205-ish, which, I mean, it's not bad if you're not running 3 speed sets. But let's see. Let's take a look at this guy's skills and maybe why we think he's going to be good for clan boss. Obviously, he's got a 3-hit 1, which is awesome for Giant Slayer. He's got a pretty decent heal because it can crit, despite the fact that we have like zero. Like, that was one of the things that I wanted to kind of get more, but we couldn't get it to proc. A little bit more crit rate. 18% is not a really high crit rate, but he's not really there for the heals. He's there for increased speed and turn meter. So that's obviously what we're going to use him for. It's going to be a little tricky at first while we figure out how exactly to use that turn meter so that we're getting the most of it. What is it? Our dungeons, 21%. Okay, but as you can see, the way you farm masteries very quickly is you come in here, go to Minotaur. 14 or 15 is my recommendation. We just recently started to actually do stage 15. It was pretty difficult. So we were usually farming just stage 14. As you can see, we can do it under a minute. So it was pretty good time-wise, but definitely not as good like energy efficiency / maybe overall time to farm it. Because I think you get like 33% more on average master scrolls from stage 15 over stage 14. And I don't think I was saving 33%, but I mean, you can see it's close. A minute 25, 55. I'd say on average, I'm like right around 2 minutes on stage 14 and pretty close to the same on stage 15, although I honestly can't say that I'm at 100% because I've just kind of just started doing it, and the Apothecary is still low, so he might get killed. Robar is not on lifesteal, so he might die, and then the run can actually wipe at that point. But let's see how it runs. I'll discuss my team setup, and then kind of how people should run their Minotaur farming. So first and foremost, the initial Minotaur farming is going to take a really long time. when you'll hear people say, once you have your team maxed, it means that once you have a team of 4 guys who can successfully clear whatever stage you're farming on their own, and they have to be maxed, as in they have to have all of their masteries maxed. They don't have to just have Giant Slayer, because everybody knows you can farm 200, unlock a tier 5, and then farm 350 more scrolls, that is, and unlock Giant Slayer. So you can technically get Giant Slayer with only 550 Master Scrolls. However, you still have 2 more slots in order to fill up. So you'll need an extra 400. So times 4, that's an extra 1,600 Master Scrolls that you'll need to farm in order to have that team quote unquote maxed. Now the reason you want to have it maxed is that when you're just, playing through for the first time, you'll notice that, Robar will get some scrolls, and then Skullcrusher will get some scrolls, and then Royal Guard will get some scrolls. So it's just completely random. The only thing that's different, the only thing that's not random is it won't progress you to the next tier of scrolls until the person is completely capped out on his previous tier. So if you're still using the medium scrolls, then you're always going to get the medium scrolls, and it's going to go to that guy. You're not going to get the master scrolls for that guy. You'll only get medium until you fill up his kind of quota, which I think is like 120 times 3. That's 360, and then I think like 80 times 3. 240, 360, 600. So you need 600 medium scrolls in order to cap out before you start getting masters. So once you do have 4 dudes maxed, then the game has no choice but to just funnel all scrolls to your one guy that still needs the scrolls. In my case, it's Apothecary. He still needs scrolls, so he gets every single one every single round. And if you just kind of want to rush to Giant Slayer, you could easily do it in a day. Probably I haven't done the math, maybe 2,400 energy, maybe 2K energy, something like that, and you can get your Giant Slayer on your new guy. So once you go through that 60-hour slog of getting your team set up, then it gets incredibly easier. So you're not going to be 6-starring a new champion, every 2 days or so, and so you should be able to save up enough energy in order to kind of get your dude to 6-star. And then what I like to do is I like to actually just level him up in Minotaur while he's farming his Giant Slayer or his whatever tier 6 mastery that I'm going to give him. So because Giant Slayer is kind of so important for Clan Boss, you do want your initial guys to be your Clan Boss team. That doesn't always work out because you do need AoE wave clear, and Clan Boss tunes generally aren't super AoE heavy, with the exception of maybe Kale. Who else? Maybe a few other ones. So you do sometimes have to get a guy to farm, Minotaur that you're not going to eventually use on your Clan Boss, and so you just got to do it again for the guy that you are going to use on Clan Boss. But it's not, like I said, it's not bad once you do it. As for mechanics, honestly, Lifesteal makes this place really easy. Lifesteal plus Tayrell's attack down makes it pretty doable. There aren't a lot of mechanics to the actual Minotaur boss. The hardest thing is going to be probably clearing the trash. If you wipe on the trash, then or if somebody dies on trash, then there's a good chance you'll wipe on the boss, because you just won't have enough hits, or you won't have the key abilities that you need in order to get through the boss. So in my case, I run. I guess I run a healer now with Apothecary, but a lot of times I run without a healer, just maybe another life stealer and Skullcrusher, who diminishes all the AoE. So the Minotaur has one attack, and it's just an AoE, hits everybody attack, and it puts a hex on you. And if you're hexed when the Minotaur swings again, it's going to do like 60% or 100% more damage. It's like a really strong weaken on all of your guys. So there are a few ways to kind of get around it, but let's get into the fight, and I can kind of pause it from there. So let's see if we can get through the trash on stage 15 on just auto. Auto is the only thing that matters. I'm not going to sit here and farm 279 runs of Minotaur manually. So we see Robar is the AoE clear. That's what he's here for. Unfortunately, on wave 2, he chooses not to AoE for some reason because he's an idiot. So this is where we can actually lose some people. Royal Guard's about to die. All the Cold Heart AoE. And Royal Guard's kind of a important one because he puts the slow on and reduces turn meter, but we'll see what we can do. All right, let's go ahead and pause it here. And so, all right, so Robar just got done stunning everybody. That's cool. Robar's obviously here just for wave clear, and he stuns on his AoE. Gets extra turns when he stuns with his 1A. So that's kind of what he's here for, is just he does a lot of damage and he helps clear waves. Sometimes he AoEs on wave 2 and he just stuns every single person, and it makes the wave kind of easy to clear. So let's see. Passive on the Minotaur, he has this rage buff, right? And it increases damage by a lot. He hits fairly hard on stage 15 with this thing. And so once that rage bar goes away, he gets dazed for 1 turn, and during that turn, you basically want to burst him down. A lot of teams now have like turn meter removal to where the Minotaur will never be dazed because he just won't go. So this buff that he has means absolutely nothing if he actually never gets to swing. And the Minotaur needs to swing twice in order to really hit you, because the first time he's going to swing, he's going to put the hex on you. And let's see what the hex does. Places a hex buff for 5 turns on 3 random targets. These debuffs cannot be resisted. Again, I'm not sure why they say that. I'm pretty sure they can be resisted, but something similar happens in the clan boss. So it's when you have the hex on you and your team takes an AoE hit, that's where people can start dying. So either don't let his turn go because he's still susceptible to turn meter removal even when he has this buff on, or the other option is to cleanse the hex every single time it comes up so that you never ever take like real damage. So here he deals double damage to enemies with a hex debuff. The debuff itself doesn't actually do anything. The hex debuff doesn't increase the damage you take from the minions on the side. It's just a unique debuff to the Minotaur that basically says that if he lands that debuff and he hits you again, he's going to do double damage. So you're looking at 800% damage if he's in his enrage and you're hexed. So you don't really want to take that. That being said, attack down on the Minotaur does wonders, and if you do have like lifesteal characters, a lot of times the lifesteal characters can get through the fight and just solo the Minotaur towards the end. Tyrell will use his skill 3 in order to reduce the Minotaur's turn meter, keep him kind of suppressed, and then that's how you beat him. I would say there are a number of different champions that do really well here and can kind of go through the Minotaur 1v1, especially once you get the minions down. So we'll look at some of those after we finish this fight. But let's continue to AoE him down, and then let's put it back on auto. And we'll kind of see. Okay, so he hexed everybody. It'd be nice if the Minotaur doesn't get to go again, but we have no turn meter removal or reduction other than Tyrell's 3, and I don't think it's going to go off. However, we're at full life, and you see Robar took a good amount of damage, but we'll be fine. We'll get a heal from Apothecary. And as long as the Minotaur is attack down, like attack broken, then he shouldn't really be killing anybody. There we go, full life, puts Tex back on. And at this point, nothing's gonna kill Tyrell. He'll just kind of do counters, and of course, Skullcrusher, he makes the fight a little faster because you get counters on every single attack that the Minotaur does. But the best part about it is he puts up the protection, and you just take less damage from the AoE, and it just kind of all goes to Skullcrusher, which is fine. That's all he's really there for. He just adds effective HP to your champions and gives you counter. So that's kind of the fight, guys. It's not super complex. A lot of people like use Martyr and just solo the Minotaur 15. It's fine. But like I said, turn meter reduction, slow, like speed reduction, and attack down kind of makes the Minotaur pretty easy to handle. And if you go through the champion pool, you can pretty much find a plethora of champions for any affinity that can do that. The other way that you can really kind of trivialize the Minotaur skills is by using somebody like a Doom Priest. So if we can go look to the, I guess we could just look at our champions. That's fine. We should have a Doom Priest in inventory. There we go. So yeah, if you look at Doom Priest's passive, she just heals every turn, so it keeps everybody topped off, and she removes one random debuff. Just so happens that in that fight, there's only one debuff that ever gets placed, and if she's speedy enough, it wouldn't really matter because she would just keep the party cleansed completely. She really does kind of trivialize the encounter completely for any team. My only concern with Doom Priest is that she doesn't really benefit from Giant Slayer. And yeah, she's a good support. Putting her in pure support, like a pure support talent tree, I think that's what I've got her in. Yeah, support defense. She is a really good healer. I just feel like there are other healers that get the job done and add a lot more to the team offensively. And at this point, that's kind of where I'm at in my gameplay. Is I'm looking for speed, not necessarily just the ability to do it. I want fast runs because I want to get as much, sifting through all of the gear and stuff as possible. So she's really good if you do need some help kind of getting through the Minotaur. Who else would be pretty good? I think she's just an amazing character. She's AoE defense down, even though it is the baby defense down, and she just turn meter removal on her 1A and just keeps Minotaur from going. I did want an attack down though, so I actually replaced her with Tyrell just for the attack down, and he does give a little bit of turn meter removal. So his 3A on a 4-turn cooldown decreases target's turn meter by 50%. So it's not super, it's not great. It'll never stun, obviously, unless it does it to like a minion or something, but excuse me, man, I'm really tired. It's really good. Another guy that's pretty decent at helping you clear Minotaur, of course, is Vrask. Vrask just has super high throughput, and his main problem is that he's not, like, if you build Vrask, it's great. He's gonna like get you through Minotaur, and it's gonna get you through like Minotaur 13. But then all of a sudden you like want to start farming your mastery scrolls, and you reach Minotaur 14, and you're like, oh shit, it's magic. And poor Vrask is spirit, and all of a sudden Vrask becomes absolutely useless on stage 14 because he can't heal. Because as you know, guys, Vrask needs to crit in order to heal with his passive. And he heals for an ungodly amount. I think my Vrask heals for like 7.5k to 8k per crit. The problem is that even if you, like I have my Vrasket, I think 115% crit for that exact reason. When you go up against your counter affinity, for example, Spirit trying to hit a Force, you have a 15% or 30% kind of penalty to your ability to crit. So you might not crit even though your Vrask is, geared to the tooth in crit gear. And honestly, if you're gearing into the tooth in crit gear, unless you have just baller runes, you're probably sacrificing some HP to begin with. So most likely you're running crit gloves, and you don't really want to do that. So the other problem with Vrask is not only do you have a reduced chance to crit, you also have, I think, a 30% chance to just do a weak hit. And sometimes you'll see like strong hit, and then sometimes you'll see like white letters on your damage. It says weak hit, and a weak hit automatically has no chance to apply debuffs and no chance to crit. So 30% of the time right off the bat, you're not going to get any heals from him because it's going to be a weak hit. And then of the remaining 70% of the time, you're going to have a reduced chance to crit, which, you might miss a crit here and there. And when you're talking about the Minotaur, if you're not reducing his turn meter, all it takes is to miss like 1 or 2 rounds with Vrask because he's not going to be super fast. You miss 1 or 2 rounds, and all of a sudden, your team just didn't get healed at all, and you get hit with a hex AoE, and your team wipes. So early on, he's good. I would say early on, he's great. Stage 14, he's going to suck pretty bad. And then once that you can kind of pass stage 14, if you have the wave clear and the champions and the gear to do so, if you can pass stage 14 and effectively get to stage 15, Vrask all of a sudden becomes good again because stage 15 is a Void Minotaur, and he's is back to his normal critting, healing for 8k around every turn. So Vrask is cool. Let's see, what else is there? See, Banner Lords. I don't really know too much about the Banner Lords, as I don't play with Banner Lords. Of the High Elves, let's see. Obviously, Royal Guard is good. Enemy max HP and reducing turn meter and putting its speed decrease and putting a defense down. This dude's just good. I mean, I'm actually toying with the idea of like running 3 Royal Guards and Spider 15 just because I could just do this 3 times and take 70% of the boss's HP. The Royal Guard is just a great epic. Let's see, Thenisol. He sleeps, attacks all enemies, decreases duration of all enemy buffs. You can't reduce the duration of the Minotaur's buff, I'm pretty sure, but he does increase defense, and this dude is a pretty good healer, so he'll also help your team. If you notice the kind of the key to Minotaur, you're really looking for like bare bones, like you just want the team of 4 to be able to do it quickly. So livability and support kind of are the name of the game, because the waves do hit pretty hard. And you do want the ability to like kind of heal up, keep yourself fairly topped off once the Minotaur starts swinging. And then if you can survive like I think the second hit of the Minotaur, you'll be pretty fine. Let's see, Apothecary is a sweet healer. Any of the starter characters, Elhain, I don't know about that orc guy, but Kale, that guy's good too. I mean, those are all Aethel. Aethel's such a solid character. So yeah, no problems with them. Let's see, who's I don't have that much experience with these ones. Who have I tried? Okay, I've messed around like speed increases, turn meter increases. So like Seeker, if you have him geared out for PvP, he'll probably do fine here. He'll provoke, so he'll kind of protect your team, protect your squishies, and he'll just in general just make your team faster. So like the idea is just get as many hits as you can before the Minotaur swings back. And if you do have any sort of turn meter removal, then a lot of times you can make it so that the Minotaur doesn't ever hit. He just swings once and then he dies. And that's it. Dark Elves. You always have like Lua. Lua's awesome for AoE clear. Gets rid of shields, and she fully depletes the turn meter with her skill 3. So this is just another like Minotaur. He's just like just going through his life bar, and then all of a sudden he's gonna be like, poop. There goes my turn meter, and now I don't get to hit for the rest of the fight, and I'm dead. So this is she's great. I actually should probably level her up. I just haven't really had the time. Use her for maybe Spider. She's pretty sweet looking too. I like her. I don't know why. Just avoid Epic. I don't know why I've just kind of like let her fall by the wayside. Her and Exemplar I kind of really want to mess around with. But anyways, guys, like all these defensive characters like Crimson Helm, that they'll be fine against Minotaur. You just want to kind of get through the fight. Cold Heart does great against Minotaur as long as you have some support to kind of protect her, because she's really squishy. But she starts reducing that turn meter, and if she's fast, like Minotaur definitely doesn't get to go. So that's kind of the fight. It's not super technical. It's not super specific. I didn't really want to make a super long video. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed that. Good luck on your Giant Slayer farming. Keep it up. I know it's a grind. It's a huge chore, but get that first team up and you'll reap the benefits very quickly. You'll get really nice clan boss scores. You'll start getting that sweet loots every single day. And if you ever do want to raise somebody else up to Giant Slayer, or to extra crit damage, or whatever you feel like doing, it's not that bad once you max that first group of 4. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'm not even sure if this qualifies as a guide, but hopefully it helped some people out and kind of explained the fight. So anyways, have a good evening, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.